So today, we're going to unpack one of the biggest economic stories of our time. It's the story of how India, a country that ran almost entirely on cash, completely transformed itself into a world leader in digital payments. And in the process, it empowered hundreds of millions of people. It's a fascinating story, so let's just dive right in. So you have to picture what it was like before. For most people in India, the whole formal financial system, well, it was something that happened to other people somewhere else. Bank branches, they were often miles and miles away. The paperwork was super complex, kind of intimidating, and honestly, just getting any kind of financial service was incredibly difficult. And this wasn't some minor issue, right? This meant that huge parts of the country were working hard, running businesses, but they were completely financially invisible.
So the big question is, what changed? How does a nation of over 1 billion people totally reinvent the way money works and do it in less than a decade? Well, the answer really boils down to two key things: a public foundation and a private engine built on top of it.
All right, so let's talk about part one, building the digital rails. Think of it like this. The government knew you can't run a high-speed train without first building the tracks. And this wasn't about just opening more brick-and-mortar bank branches. No, this was way bigger. It was about creating a digital public infrastructure, a massive one that would let financial services finally break free from all that paperwork and just become a normal part of everyday life. And this whole foundation, it really stood on three massive pillars. First up, you had Aadhaar, which gave every single citizen a unique digital identity. That's huge. Then there was Jan Dhan, this massive national push to get a basic bank account for everyone. And finally, the third piece of the puzzle, the explosion of mobile phones and cheap data all across the country. You put those three things together, and boom, you've got the digital rails ready for real-time payments.
Okay, so the rails are built. But, just having the infrastructure isn't enough, right? The real challenge is getting millions and millions of people to actually use it and to trust it every single day. And that's where the private engine comes in. This is where innovation took over, building platforms that made all this new access simple, intuitive, and most importantly, trustworthy for the average person.
The real breakthrough technology here was something called UPI, the Unified Payments Interface. And the promise of UPI was, well, it was a total game changer for three reasons. First, interoperability. That's a fancy word, but what it means is you could use any app to scan any QR code and pay any merchant. No more walled gardens. Second, you got instant confirmation. The second you paid, you knew it went through, 24/7. And third, it had this open architecture, which basically let app developers go wild and focus on creating the best, smoothest user experience possible.
So you've got this incredible new system, but how do you get people to trust it with their money? It's a huge question, and the answer is so simple, so human. People did exactly what you or I would do. They tested it. They'd send just one single rupee to a friend, and that friend would instantly get a notification saying, "Yep, got it." Seeing your own money, even a tiny amount, move seamlessly, instantly from your phone to someone else's, that is what built unshakable confidence in the whole system. It was genius. And this really gets to how critical the design was. These apps weren't built for tech experts. They were built for everyone. Think about it. They used simple icons, things you could recognize even if you couldn't read the text. The most important button, that QR code scanner, was right there, front and center. Super easy to hit with your thumb. The whole layout was designed to just make sense. It was structured the way people naturally think about their money. Sending to friends, paying bills, that kind of thing. It was incredibly intuitive.
Okay, so we've talked about the consumer. Now let's flip the script and look at this from the other side of the counter, from the merchant's point of view. For millions of small business owners, street vendors, little neighborhood shops, going digital wasn't just about making things a bit easier. No, this was a fundamental, life-changing shift that, for the first time ever, brought them into the formal economy.
And this gets to the heart of the problem they faced. How do you join the formal economy when you have zero financial history? These businesses were making money every single day, but because it was all cash, it was like it never happened. They were financially invisible. No formal records, no paper trail. And that meant no way to get a business loan, no way to grow.
This is where digital payments changed everything. They created something these merchants never ever had before, a financial identity. Suddenly, every single transaction wasn't just cash in a box. It was a data point, a digital breadcrumb. Together, all these transactions built a formal digital record of their business. They were no longer invisible. They were on the map. And you can actually map out this journey pretty clearly. It all starts with that first digital payment,
Then, over time, all those little payments add up and build a real transaction history. That history is what creates their formal business identity. And that identity, well, that's the key that unlocks the door to everything else, to loans, to credit, to all the tools they need to actually grow their business.
But wait, there was still one more hurdle to clear. Imagine you're a busy merchant, right? You've got a line of customers. You can't stop after every single sale to pull out your phone and check for a confirmation text. You just can't. You need to know right then and there, without a doubt, that you've been paid.
And the solution that emerged was, honestly, it was brilliant and so simple. A smart speaker. Just a small box that sits on the counter, and every time a customer pays, it announces out loud, payment of 50 rupees received. Just like that. This little device gave them instant, independent audio confirmation. It completely solved the trust problem. It even meant owners could trust their employees to run the shop because they knew every single payment would be announced for everyone to hear.
The other piece of the puzzle, and this one is so critical, was cash flow. See, small businesses run on really tight margins. The money they make today, they need that tonight to pay their suppliers tomorrow morning. So the fact that digital payments could be settled so quickly, getting the money into their account the very next day, that was an absolute game changer for their working capital. It kept the lights on.
But you know, this whole revolution, it quickly became about so much more than just sending and receiving money. As people got more and more comfortable with the technology, you started to see their behavior change. This was about unlocking real, true financial independence.
You can really sum up the user's journey with this simple idea: send, spend, manage, and grow. At first, it was all about send, just easy transfers to friends and family. Then came spend, using the app for bills, mobile recharges, and shopping. After that, people got into manage, where they could see exactly where every penny was going. And that last step, the most powerful one, was grow, getting access to tools to actually build wealth.
And get this, the barrier to entry for that grow phase was just gone. For the very first time, people could start investing in things like digital gold or mutual funds with as little as 10 rupees. That's, what, about 12 cents? I mean, this completely democratized access to building wealth. It was something that had never, ever been possible before for so many people.
So when you look at the whole picture, India's story isn't just about cool tech or a new app. It's about what happens when public infrastructure and private innovation come together with a shared goal of making things simple and trustworthy. The real outcome here isn't just, oh, more people have a bank account. It's about empowering millions of people to finally take control and shape their own financial futures.
This whole journey, from cash to code, really offers a powerful blueprint for financial inclusion everywhere. It's a story about how technology, when it's built thoughtfully and for everyone, can unlock human potential on an absolutely massive scale. And that really leaves us with one final big question. What can the rest of the world learn from this incredible revolution?